All right. Well, that was an abrupt end to the music there. My big fat fingers uh, work here early on a September 6th, 2023. And from the home studio in Middletown, Delaware, I am Marshal Manlove. This is a special interview edition of our show. When you think of high school football, and any state in particular, for me anyway, I think of Texas. And we're going to meet a Texas high school football star and his head football coach here shortly. And he had a very big day in a game that his team played in here recently. We're going to talk to him about that, his coach about that, their team, and their outlook for this particular season. But first, let me just promote a couple of things. I didn't mean for my face to disappear there, although some people would say that's the best part of the show when my face disappears. This is brought to you by me, Marshal Manlove, stage hypnotist. If you would like a funny, fascinating, and memorable experience for a party or an event that you're having, please consider my stage hypnosis show, details about which you can find at marshalmanlove.com. Do these shows all around the country, and I like to meet people from all around the country. So when I go into a town to do a show, I always try to find out how the local sports teams are doing. And it's kind of a little bit of a passion of mine there. Now, hopefully, when I press this next button, my guests will appear. There they are. They have appeared. I've only made one mistake so far. You guys haven't seen it, thankfully. Oh, man. To the left on the screen here is the Hutto, Texas high school football coach, Will Compton, and the quarterback of the team to the right there on the screen is Will Hammond. Gentlemen, thank you for making time to come visit the show here today.
Appreciate you having us on.
Thanks for having us on. Absolutely. So you caught my attention, Will, you had a very big game statistically, and that's saying something considering you're from one of the biggest high school football states in the country. And so here's what caught my attention. In this particular game, you threw for, 719 yards to the quarterback of the team, as I mentioned, and you had part in 10 different touchdowns, 4 that you threw and 6 that you ran, and 88 yards on the ground. And when I first saw these statistics, I thought, okay, well, maybe they ran over some team. And here, I don't know how it is in Texas. Here we have a mercy rule, and you just run up as many points as you can get, and if you have a certain amount of points lead, the clock runs. Is it like that there in Texas? You got the same kind of rule there, first of all?
No, sir. Not for our division. On the very low division, which is our 6-man division, they'll have a 40-point rule where they'll call it off. But for us, I mean, it just pretty much goes unless the coaches, if there was a lopsided game, then the coaches could agree to run the clock in the second half. But other than that, it just kind of goes like normal.
Okay. So then I looked a little further this morning because I'm going to talk to you today, and found out that they needed you to participate. Your team needed you to participate in that whole game because the final score of that game was 82-80. I was sick. Now, I know the looks on your faces are a little bit of disappointment because you actually came out on the shorter end of that. But let's just talk about that game from your perspective there first, Coach.
Oh, I mean, we knew it was a contrast of styles. Going into it, Liberty Hill is they're a program that is very well known in Texas. They're known for their slot T offense. It's not something that you see all the time, and so for us, we have a younger defense, and it was a tough matchup to get a line to it and be able to track the ball. They're very good at what they do, but we felt on the offensive side of the ball we were going to be able to move the football with our passing and running attack, and then just kind of got behind a little bit there early, and so just kind of abandoned the run just a little bit and started slinging the ball around. and trying to catch points. And end result is we got close, just not enough.
So we'll talk about the game from your perspective there.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think at the start we kind of got a little bit behind on points, and then I mean, our first drive ended a touchdown, but the drives following weren't as solid, and then we kind of picked it up in the second quarter, went into the half. I'm confident that we would just come out the rest of the game and just score every drive, and that's what we did. But I mean, obviously, like Coach said, yeah, we came up 2 points short, so at the end of the day, we didn't get it done.
And how old are you? What grade are you in, Will?
I'm a senior. I'm 17.
And I know that you're headed to play football in college. Where are you headed?
Texas Tech.
So you can be a Red Raider.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, awesome. What was your decision making process like for that ultimate choice for you?
Yeah, just I mean, their coaches are really friendly, and felt like I really connected with them, and they have a great offense, kind of similar to ours, where they throw the ball a lot. Awesome fan base, and just really, really good environment there in Lubbock.
Did you have any other options, or was that your only one and you decide that? Was that your first option, your first choice in your head?
Yeah, no, at the time of my commitment, I had a couple other options. Texas Tech was the best one, and even after schools came along and offered later on from the likes of some big time SEC schools, I stuck with my commitment because I knew it felt like home.
So, as far as I can tell, you are the real deal for sure. And I know the Liberty Hill head coach made a comment that he believes you're one of the best quarterbacks in the state there, which is saying something. What's your thought about that, Coach?
Oh, you know, one of the things that I've been saying, probably for about a year now, is that Will's one of the best quarterbacks in the state, if not in the nation. And I think he proved that this summer when he made the Elite 11, kind of as the underrated guy that nobody was really talking about. Obviously you have your high-profile quarterbacks that had the big-time offers, and so Will got up there and competed. He was pretty much top five in every event that they had at the Elite 11, and still not a whole lot of talk coming out of it. But coming from the college coaches back to me, the communication they got was that he's definitely a top five quarterback in the nation. And I think we're lucky to have him, and it's just a pleasure to go out there and work with him every day. And just seeing how much he's grown, and now the conversations that we're able to have, it's a lot of fun. Just being out on the field with him.
So we'll talk about this Elite 11 that was just mentioned. This is something I'm not particularly knowledgeable about.
Right, yeah. So the Elite 11 is a quarterbacks camp out in Los Angeles, California, where they invite out their top 20 guys that they find from regional events around the country. And it's like 48 straight hours, just football meetings, like stuff to help you grow as a person, but also as a player on the field and off. Tons of drills, 7-on-7. There's a big pro day that's all scripted that you study leading up to the event. And it's all sponsored by Nike. It's super well ran. It's got a lot of history. Big time guys in the NFL and college right now have gone through that camp. Actually, I wouldn't even call it a camp. I would call it like an experience. But it was definitely something I was blessed to be a part of. And I'm grateful looking back on everything I learned.
And about how tall are you? How much do you weigh right now, Will?
I'm 6'2", 195.
Okay, yeah, so it's good height for all that. Do you participate in any other sports?
No, sir, I do not.
So what do you do when football's out of season?
Off season, I mean, I'm just like lifting and running and doing schoolwork, hanging out with friends and family. Probably about sums it up.
How are your grades?
Pretty good. A's. So.
Awesome.
He's being a little humble right now. I think he's like number 17 or 18 in his class with like a 4.2 GPA.
Oh wow, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, you can tell he's a humble guy. Yeah, for sure. Hey, that's a good thing, man. It's just another feather in your cap for sure. So Hutto, Texas is part of the Austin area. Talk about what life is like there in your town. Either one of you, no matter.
Go ahead, Will.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, it's just like it's fun. I enjoy growing up here. I was born here. You can go out boating with friends. You can go out and eat. You can go, I don't know, just enjoy the sun, especially in the summer, and get tan. And yeah, it's a fun environment. Good people around here.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. This being my second year in the area, one of the unique things about Hutto is that our mascot is the hippos, the only one in the nation. And so,
Nice.
the city of Hutto is about their hippos. And so, as you drive around the town, it still has the small town feeling. It's an area that's grown real fast. Everybody has hippos in their yards, and then all of our feeder schools mascots are hippos. And so once you get into our school system, I mean, you're a hippo from the time that you get here to the time that you're in high school. So it's not not going through a bunch of mascots, and has that small town feel to it, and you get great support from your community, good food in the area, and just an exciting place to be.
Awesome. And Will, you said you enjoy the sun and all. It's probably a good thing considering what the weather's been like down there, right, for the last
Right.
couple of
Yes,
months.
sir.
What was it like temperature wise for your first two games this year?
Let's see. San Marcos, I think it was hot leading up to the game, but we pushed the kickoff back to 8 p.m. So it wasn't too bad. And then last week at Liberty Hill, I mean, it was warm, but like, I mean, I felt great. It wasn't too hot. The summer workouts made the games that we've had the last 2 weeks feel pretty nice. So
You know what I think is funny? I hear people talk about, well, this isn't football weather, but you play football at this time of the year every year. So it's football weather now. It's always football weather when you're playing football, whenever it is. So if somebody was to come decide that they want to watch you play one of your home games down there, let's say I was to drive down, or not, well, I wouldn't drive, that would take me like a week. If I was to fly down there and watch you play, obviously I'm going to want to go get something to eat. Where would somebody go to eat in your town, or where would they go to do something fun while they're not watching you play?
um, I know there's a place called the Texan Cafe, which I didn't know was like really historic, but I guess it is. They've got really good pie. There's kind of a local burger place that they're building right now here. It's called Mighty Fine, and there's like 7 locations here in Austin. That's hands down my favorite restaurant. And the Hippo Cafe, obviously, it's like just a mile from the stadium, not even. And you can go there for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And it's just kind of like a little hometown cafe. The ladies know your name, so it's pretty cool.
All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. So definitely the Texan, Texan or the Hippo Cafe, if you want to have your pie afterwards, either one of those is great. If you're here for lunchtime, then I'm definitely hitting a Mario's for either breakfast or lunch. That's my go-to Mexican food spot in town. To be able to get in there.
Now, obviously, you can't pass for 719 yards unless somebody blocks for you or somebody actually catches the ball that you throw. So, mention some of the other teammates that have helped contribute to your success that day, even though it was on a losing side, and some important players going forward for you this year.
Right, exactly. Obviously, big time up front. Those guys killed it all night. We didn't have as many rushing yards, but we threw the ball all night. So our big left tackle, Preston Honeycutt, is hands down our biggest, best guy. He kind of just holds down the fort. He's the leader in that room. And then we go over to the receivers room. You see Alex Green and Keelan both had 250-plus yards during the night. And we've also got Brayton Anderson and Carson LaPlante, who both killed it as well in the game. So we've got a ton of threats all over the field. And offensive line, I mean, they hold down the fort up front for me so we can make plays on the back end.
Coach, want to add to that?
Oh, I mean, that's pretty much spot on. I thought Alex Green had a phenomenal game. He had 15 catches for 275. Keelan Chavis, who's our running back, he had 7 catches for 243 coming out of the backfield. 3 touchdowns for him, and just a phenomenal game all around. And I just think that the offensive line did a great job in their pass pro. And then when things did break down, which wasn't very often, they broke down, and that's where a lot of Will got a lot of his rushing yards were from broken pockets, breaking down and going from there. And they ended up in, probably 4 out of the 6 touchdowns were actually pass plays called that, protection, getting out, and everything else.
thinking back on it now, even though it was a loss, it had to be fun, right?
Oh yeah, it was a blast. I mean, like the whole fourth quarter, I was just on the sideline smiling, like this is just fun. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, even if we're down and we're chasing points, coming back, like no matter what the outcome is, I'm gonna have fun. But like at the same time, I don't want to leave here without a win.
Yeah, I had a little bit different take. If I was just the offensive coordinator still, then I would have probably had fun. As the head coach, you're not having fun in that situation just because you are chasing points and you got to think about the whole team aspect of it and special teams. And so, it was one of those things a little bit stressful for me.
It's got to be a little frustrating, right? Did you throw anything, break anything? I don't know, snap your neck
No.
or anything like that, trying to figure out what's going on?
That's one thing I talked with our leadership council about. Man, I'm trying to work on not blowing my top in those situations and just making sure that we're picking the guys up. Because again, the thing when you get into a situation like that, it doesn't do any good to ride that emotional roller coaster of up and down. The best thing you could do is just try to pick the heads up of those defensive guys that are having a tough night. And then on the flip side, you got to keep your offensive guys kind of humble, knowing that they have to go out and they have to attack it every time, and with that mindset of every series we have to go score.
And what are your team's prospects for the rest of the season here?
As far as you talking about, as far as record, or what do you mean by that?
Yeah, how do you see yourself faring against the rest of your competition through the balance of the year here?
No, I think it's a great question. So this week we go against the number, 10, 11 team in the largest division, which is 6A for us. And then we have Judson, who's probably a top 25 team in the state. So our next two games, which are non-conference games, are pretty tough. And then we start district. And I feel that, as we get through these two games, if we can come out healthy into district, then, we'll be able to compete with everybody there and compete for a district championship. With what we're able to do, I think we're going to grow some guys on the defensive side of the ball that are really going to be able to help us. And after that, hopefully make a playoff run.
And have you had a chance to see film of these next couple games that you were talking about here? Of the
yeah,
teams?
we trade film on Wednesdays. So from last Wednesday, we got this week's opponent. We're just trading today for next week's opponent. Which we'll be able to start breaking down their film and tendencies and things like that. I think that there are some matchups that are good for us, but they're going to be tough physical games for sure.
Now, successful athletes, programs, teams, I find, have developed. Well, teams overall, there's a culture for sure for teams that are successful, but perhaps individuals have maybe habits or rituals that help them keep their minds in the game. Will, do you have anything like that? That you any kind of habit or ritual, superstition for yourself?
No, I don't really have any superstitions necessarily. I think just like pregame, I just try and I mean, mostly I keep to myself, but especially pregame, I try and just lock in, make sure I'm focused and calm, because at the end of the day, when I'm calm and able to execute, then the offense as a whole will be able to score touchdowns. So that's what matters most.
So that would kind of be a little bit of a ritual for you, then stay by yourself and kind of collect your thoughts. Sure. Okay. Yep. That works. Coach, do you see anything like that with other kids on the team? Maybe something that stands out to you that might be unusual, funny, interesting?
No, I mean, it's the great thing about our team is a pretty tight knit group, and so the locker room and the culture that we've created here is very family like. So at any time that you go in there, it's a bunch of friends hanging out. They're shooting pool. We have our game days are a lot of fun. We have a guy that comes in, does game day haircuts for the kids. We got dads that come in and cook breakfast. So we have our breakfast with champions. Thursday nights we have devotional and a team dinner, we call it family dinner. So I think creating that game day experience is a lot of fun. And then home games here are electric. I know this one was on the road, but our home games here are a lot of fun. It's a electric atmosphere with the stadium that we have and the light shows and train horns and everything else. And so it just makes for a fun atmosphere all the way around.
Yeah, I hear all these great things about high school football in Texas. Never had the opportunity or the pleasure to see a game or experience it down there. We in my state, our state's very small. It's probably about the size of Austin, I guess. So when we say small, so we don't have, everything kind of runs together. There are a couple small towns, and they're always fun to visit on football nights. That's for sure. So I can imagine that on a grander scale has to be just a fantastic experience for those who like football and are into football. So fill in any blanks for me here. What am I missing, or what would you like people who are watching this to know about you, your team, or anything of that nature?
Go ahead, Will.
Shoot. Well, I'm a hard worker, obviously, and I mean, outside of football, I just enjoy like hanging out with friends and having a good time with my family, and I don't really like to be out of town. Mostly like to just be home and kind of do my own thing. So I'm pretty chill and stuff behind the scenes. Any
hobbies or anything like that besides sports?
I mow lawns.
As a hobby?
I don't know if I'd call it a hobby, but
Bobby Boucher. Yeah, Will has a lawn mowing business.
Okay.
That he does pretty good job with, and I think that's awesome. For me, outside of this, I do a lot of cooking. That's like I guess probably more people talk about what I'm cooking on Sunday dinner than my coaching on Friday nights, and so it's kind of one of those trade-offs.
So what's your go-to dish then?
Everybody wants to come down for Steak Sunday.
Awesome.
Which it's something I started back first time I was a head coach. Is we spent so much time at the field house and spending in game planning and things like that I want to make it a non-negotiable that Sunday night our coaches were able to go home and have dinner with their families. Because throughout the week it doesn't always work, and so we started. My wife would go to the store and buy steaks, and so we started what we called Steak Sunday. We posted on Twitter and things like that, and just kind of became one of those things that we've done for probably the last 6-7 years. And everybody sees it, and definitely wants to come over for a steak.
Awesome. Sounds like a lot of fun for sure. All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you two for stopping by this show here and talking about yourselves, your team, that particular game, and I wish you great success for this coming year and beyond, of course. And you're welcome back anytime. Just reach out to me and we'll have you back and we'll talk football or steaks or mowing lawns, whatever the case may be. All right?
Sounds great, man.
All right, wave goodbye to our growing fan base here at My Sports Reports. I'm going to hit end meeting for all, and again, have a great day.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. So a couple of good guys there. From Texas, Hutto, Texas, head football coach Will Compton and his quarterback, Will Hammond. 719 yards he throws for in one game in an 82-80 loss, unfortunately. Takes part in 10 different touchdowns. 4 he throws, 6 he rushes for. Unbelievable day. Good kid, good humble kid on his way to Texas Tech. Please like, share, and subscribe wherever you find these videos. I'd appreciate that. And if you would like to recommend somebody for an interview here, just reach out to me at mysportsreports@gmail.com. Special thanks go out to my wonderful, beautiful wife, Dawnie M., my friends, Joey V., and Tommy K., supporters of the show from day one. I think that's it. I'm out. Have a great day. Yeah. Time for lunch. Yeah. Lunchtime. Stupid music again. Oh, my big fat fingers. All right. Do 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 do.